So there's a ton of insane stuff currently happening to Sofi's stock, actually being up again since the nearly 1-month-long pullback from the highs in June. In fact, we are currently sitting on a daily gain of almost 9% after touching the resistance at about $15. So what we are going to do today is give you an updated insight into what is happening to the stock and break down exactly whether it is still a buy at the end. And as the analysis in the video is absolutely crucial to consider before buying the stock, make sure to stay tuned. But before we jump right in, just hit that subscribe button down below. And as we'll keep you updated on breaking news and awesome trading opportunities every single day, subscribing would not only help us but also you. So there is really no excuse for not smashing the subscribe button, it's free, and you can always unsubscribe if you feel so. Alright, so in the case of Sofi Technologies, we are looking at an especially to the public market pretty new financial service provider. What makes the company so interesting, however, is that it has expanded massively from the initial loan financing it was founded for to now offering mortgages, personal loans and brokerage services, basically being an ultimate finance platform. And as it just went public on the 1st of June via a reverse merger with a SPAC called Social Capital Headosofia, it actually was able to raise over $2.4 billion in cash by selling some shares to be used for even further expansion, which is absolutely insane. But there are a few really important things the company just did right, with the first one being the first quarter financial results, bringing in over $216 million, which leaves us at an astonishing 151% year-over-year increase. Another extremely promising thing about Sofi are its acquisition. Just in last April, for example, they were able to buy the fintech API provider Galileo for about $1.2 billion. But this is actually a pretty big deal, as Galileo also works heavily with the Sofi's competitors, including some super popular brokers like Robinhood. What is also crucial to consider for the prediction at the end of the video is its acquisition of the Californian Golden Pacific Bancorp, giving the company a much higher position in the national bank charter. And this doesn't only support profitability, as borrowing costs are much lower than usual, but could also provide just another reason for customers to use Sofi's platform. So it makes a lot of sense that the company actually expects to continue its growth in regard to members, having managed a 110% gain in the first quarter, while also predicting new revenue to fall right under $1 billion over the full year, up 58% from the $621 million in 2020. Last time, however, we also had to talk about the stock currently being very expensive, trading at around 18.4 times sales. But after the recent pullbacks, we are now sitting at a much cheaper price, making this a much less important problem. And considering its super high chances of becoming a major leader in the fintech space, combined with the just mentioned aspects, it seems really reasonable to see some gains on the stock again. As said before, however, since February, concerns over rising inflation have skyrocketed due to the Fed may wanting to raise interest rates much sooner than expected, making many growth stocks temporary pullback along the way. As Sofi is heavily involved into the banking space, however, they are very affected. But another thing to bear in mind before buying the stock is that investors have extremely high expectations for the future, despite some actually new revolutionary things from the company. That's at least what we found online researching. What we think, however, and we also said that last time, is that you don't have to always reinvent the wheel. It is the platform the company built around the old business model that is so special and differentiates it from all the other banks out there. So as shares are currently pulling up again, trading at cheaper prices, however, it might be a pretty good buy right now. The gains today are also giving us a much lower risk, as some recoveries are already showing off on the chart. Alright, with that being it for today's video, thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video and want to support our mission of providing free financial information to everyone here on YouTube, please ensure you're subscribed and definitely consider leaving a like. As mentioned before, it really means the world to us. Thanks a lot and see you next time.